So students, we are going to discuss about human geography through the corridor of time from the chapter Human Geography, Nature and Scope. Okay. So here we are going to discuss about how geography got evolved, human geography actually got evolved in different time periods, and what were the different approaches. Okay, what were the different approaches to study human geography in different time periods. Okay, like the relationship, interrelationship between the man and the nature was not seen throughout the history of humans actually. Okay, so the relationship between human beings and the nature of the environment has got evolved, it has got changed in different time periods. Okay, so with the changing relationship between the man and the environment, okay, there is a change in the there's a change in the approaches of studying the relationship actually. Okay, so in different time periods there were different approaches to study human geography. So here we are going to mainly focus about those approaches, okay, of studying human geography in different time periods. So let us proceed. So so the process of adaptation, okay, the process of adaptation, adjustment with and modification of the environment, it started with the appearance of human beings over the surface of the earth in different ecological niches. Okay, so basically the process of adaptation, the process of adjustment with the nature and the process of modification of the environment, it started when the human beings they appeared over the surface of the earth actually. Okay, in different ecological niches, that means in different ecological areas. Okay, so the time period from when human beings existed on this earth surface, actually from that time period only there is a change. Okay, from that time period only the human beings, okay, they adapted themselves with the nature, they adjusted themselves with the physical environment, and they also has caused some modification, they also has caused some changes to the environment actually. Okay, so human beings existed on this earth surface in different ecological conditions, in different environmental conditions. Okay, so in this different environmental conditions the human beings they adapted themselves. Okay, they adjusted with the environmental condition and they have caused some changes. Okay, they have caused some changes in different ecological conditions actually, environmental conditions. Okay, so thus we imagine the beginning. Okay, thus we imagine the beginning of human geography with the interaction of environment and human beings, and it has its roots deep in history. Okay, so thus we imagine the beginning of human geography with the interaction of the environment and the human beings. Okay, so human geography came into existence actually, or we can say that the beginning of human geography started with the interaction of the environment and the human beings. Okay, with the interaction of the human beings with the environment actually. Okay, so it has its deep root in history actually. So the beginning of human geography, or we can you can say that the root of human geography, in order to know about the root of human geography, that from when human geography came into existence, we have to know in details about the history of history of the human beings and all that, how the human beings they came in, like they existed on the earth. Okay, and how did they adapted themselves with their surrounding environment. So then only we can have some information, we can have some idea about the beginning of human geography as well. Okay, thus the concerns of human geography have a long temporal continuum, though the approaches to articulate them have changed over the time. Okay, so thus the concern of human geography have a long temporal continuum actually. So the concerns of human geography, okay, the approaches of human geography, okay, it is a long actually. Okay, okay, so let us start. So the process, so thus the concern of human geography have a long temporal continuum with the approaches to articulate them and them have changed over the time actually. Okay, so the concern of human geography, okay, the approaches to human geography actually, it has changed. Okay, it has changed actually. Okay, in different time periods. It has changed in different time periods. Okay, with the change in the human society actually. So this dynamism, okay, this dynamism in approaches and thrust shows the vibrant nature of the discipline actually. Okay, so the dynamism in the approaches of studying the relationship between the man and the nature and the thrust actually, it shows the vibrant nature of the discipline, the vibrant nature of human geography actually. Okay, because human geography is a subject which has different approaches, okay, which has different approaches to understand the relationship between the man and the nature. And these different approaches, okay, adopted in different time periods. Okay, these different approaches were adopted in different time periods actually. Okay. So earlier, there was little interaction between different societies, and the knowledge about each society was limited actually. So in the earlier phase of human history, there was a very little interaction between the different societies, okay, between the different group of people, different societies, okay, and the knowledge about each other was also limited because in the earlier period of human history, the human beings they existed in different parts of the world, and the population of the human beings were also not so large, okay. So this group of people, they existed in their own geographical area and they did not have much information. Okay, they did not have much information about the other groups of human beings, or they did not have any
Sir,
other information, okay, about the other
good morning, sir.
about the other areas actually, about the other societies and all. Okay. So, as I said that earlier, the human beings were not so large in population, so they did had limited knowledge, okay, about the other groups of human beings, about the other societies actually, okay. But when this group of human beings actually, okay, the different groups of human beings, they started traveling from one place to another, okay, for various, to explore the new things and all, okay. They came in contact with the other groups of people. They came in contact with the new areas and all. Okay. So from that time onwards, actually, we started gathering the information about the other societies. We started gathering the information about the other places and all. Okay. So this process of gathering information, okay, about the different places of the world, about the different groups of people living in different parts of the world, it increased. Okay, it increased when many of the travelers and the explorers they started visiting different parts of the world actually. Okay, so the different travelers and the explorers they used to disseminate information about the areas of their visit. Okay, so the different travelers and the explorers actually, okay, they used to collect the information, means wherever they used to go, they used to collect the information from their particular area. Okay, they used to observe the things and all, and they used to disseminate the information, means they used to spread the information to their community, to the other group of peoples and all. Okay, so like this way we started coming to know about the other groups of people living in different parts of the world, and also we started coming to know about their geographical features, about their culture, about their society, about their food habits, their agricultural products and all. Okay, so this is how, okay, the exploration of the different places, it helped in gathering information about different parts of the world and different groups of people. Okay, but this process of exploration, okay, it became more like rapid actually. The process of exploration became more rapid after the discovery of various oceanic routes. Okay, after the discovery of the oceanic routes, and when the navigational techniques were enhanced, when the navigational techniques were better developed. Okay, so before people used to travel from one place to another on foot, but when they came discovered the sea routes and all, they started exploring different new places through ships and all. Okay, so navigational skills were not developed and voyages were fraught with dangers. So in the earlier time, the navigational skills were not so much developed, and people they carried out the voyages, okay, which were full of dangers and all. Okay, but after that, when the people they started developing the advanced navigational techniques and all, okay, so they started exploring various new places actually. Okay, so the late 15th century, they witnessed attempts of exploration in Europe, and slowly the myths and mysteries about countries and people started to open up. Okay. So the late 15th century, it witnessed attempts of exploration in Europe actually. Okay. So in the later half of the 15th century, actually, basically in Europe, okay, this process of exploration, it increased. The number of this you can say exploration, it increased actually, and the people they started unfurling, okay, the myths and the mysteries about different countries and all. because when the people they started visiting different new places, they started exploring new places, so the myths and the mysteries about different new places started unfurling actually. Okay, we started coming to know about the unknown facts of different countries, about different groups of peoples and all. Okay, so this is how the people started to open up actually. Okay, so this is how the people started gathering knowledge about the other, and also they started sharing their information with the other and all. Okay, and this is how the group of people they started becoming interconnected. The group of people started having interrelationship among themselves. Okay. So the colonial period, basically during the colonial period, okay, it provided impetus to further exploration in order to access the resources of the regions and to obtain inventorized information. So the colonial period, they provided impetus actually. During the colonial period, this process of exploration, okay, it got an impetus actually, means the process of exploration actually, it saw a rapid development, okay, during the colonial period, because the Europeans, okay, the French, the Dutch, okay, the Britishers and all, they started exploring various new places. Okay, and when they started exploring various new places, they started carrying out their trade and commerce. Okay, they started exploring the resources of different regions, and they started setting up their colonies actually. Okay, with their technology, okay, with their knowledge and all. So this is how this is how process of steady development of human geography took place actually. Okay, so this is how you can see that from an earlier human beings actually, the early human beings, they started progressing, they started gathering information about the other groups of people. Okay, and when we started developing, actually we started developing technology, we started exploring various new places, we started exploring various new groups of peoples and all. Okay, and we started sharing the information. So this is how you see that the human geography, okay, the core concern of human geography also it started developing actually. Okay, so human geography basically tries to understand the interrelationship between the man and the nature, as well as the interrelationship between the one group of human beings with the other actually. Okay, so this is how with the development of the human societies, with the exploration of the new places and all. Okay, the human geography, okay, also started, the concern of human geography also started becoming more wider and wider. Okay, and human geography ultimately took a final shape. Okay, and it became a, you can say it became a major discipline. Okay, it became a major part of geographical studies actually. Okay, so this chart basically it provides us the information, okay, about different periods, okay, about different time periods, and the approaches which were like the different approaches which existed during that time periods, okay, to study the interrelationship between the man and the nature actually. Okay, so broad stages and the thrust of the human geography. So here you can see that on one side we are having the different periods, then the different approaches which were the approaches which were prevalent during those period. Okay, and the basic features of those approaches. Okay, so the early colonial period. Okay, the early colonial period means when the Britishers they started, not only the Britishers but the French, Dutch and all. Okay, they started setting up their colonies, okay, in different parts of the world actually. Means when they just started setting up their colonies actually, that is the early colonial period. Okay, so during the early colonial period, the approach was exploration and description. Okay, the approach of the people at that time was the exploration and the description. Means people started exploring the various new places. Okay, and they started like provided information. Okay, describing those places and all. Okay, so during the early colonial period, the major approaches was the exploration and the description approach. Okay, or you can say the exploration approach was mainly used actually. Okay, so some of the broad features of this early colonial period, okay, was the imperial and trade interest from prompted the discovery and exploration of new areas, and encyclopedic description of the area formed an important aspect of the geographer's account. Okay. Okay. where I'm just saying about the thrust actually. Okay, so imperial and the trade interest promoted the discovery and the exploration of the new ideas actually. Okay, so the main objective of this early colonial period, okay, the people who started setting up the colonies was to carry out the trade and commerce and to increase their dominations actually. Okay, so in order to carry out the trade and commerce, to increase the trade and commerce and to increase the dominations actually, they started discovering or exploring new places and all. Okay, main thrust of human geography basically means the main objectives of studying human geography actually, you can say. Okay, the later colonial period, and the later colonial period means after the colonial period actually. At that time the approach was regional analysis. Okay, regional analysis means uh, the world was divided into different regions. Okay, and the geographers, they were mainly concerned on analyzing these different regions of the world. Okay, means different regions of the world were analyzed actually in terms of the economy, in terms of the society, culture, resources, trade and commerce, etc. Okay, so elaborate description of all aspects of a region were undertaken. Okay, so elaborate description of all aspects of a region were undertaken during the later colonial period. Okay, means a detailed analysis of different regions of the world were undertaken. Okay, analysis of what? Analysis of the economy, analysis of the physical features, analysis of the human society, analysis of the human culture and all. Okay, of different regions. So elaborate description of all aspects of a region were undertaken. The idea was that all the regions were part of a whole. Okay, and the main idea was that all these regions were part of a whole. All the regions were part of the earth actually. Okay, so understanding the parts in totality lead to an understanding of the whole actually. Okay, so understanding the part in totality will help in understanding the whole actually. So as because different regions of the world, they are actually the part of the earth only. So if we try to understand about a particular region, if we understand in details about a particular region, so it will help us, or it will provide us with information about the other regions of the world also. Okay, because it is believed that a particular region is similar with the other regions and all. Okay, so if we have a broad details, or if we have a broader knowledge about a particular region and all, so we will get information about the entire world, about the entire earth actually. So the third period is after 1930s through the interwar period actually. Okay, after 1930s, during the period of the war, during the period of the World War actually. Okay, yeah, at this period of time, the approach of human geography was areal differentiation. Okay, the approach of studying human geography was areal differentiation, and this approach of areal differentiation, it has a different features. Okay, it has a different features, and these features were totally different from the regional analysis and exploration approach actually. Okay, because in this areal differentiation approach, the focus was on identifying the uniqueness of any region and understanding how and why it was different from the others actually. Okay, so the main approach of human geography during this interwar period, means after 1930s, was the areal differentiation. Okay, and according to this areal differentiation approach, the geographers were mainly focused on identifying the uniqueness of a particular region, uniqueness of India, uniqueness of Asia, uniqueness of Africa. Okay, we try to find out the uniqueness, specific features of a particular region and all, and why that particular area or that particular country is unique. The features are why unique. What are the reasons responsible for such different features and all. Okay, so this was the main approach of areal. This was the main approach actually, which is known as the areal differentiation. Okay, so areal differentiation, the approach of areal differentiation mainly focus on identifying the uniqueness of any region. Okay, and also to understand that why such uniqueness exists. Okay, and why it was different from the other regions actually. The next, so after the interwar period, during the 1950s and the 1960s. Okay, during the period between 1950s and 1960s, at that period of time, the approach of human geography was the spatial organization. Okay, the approach of human geography was spatial organization, and this spatial organization in this period actually, there was a development of the information and the technology. Okay, the use of computer came into existence. Okay, So at that period of time, the people, they started taking help of the different modern technologies, okay, modern tools and techniques actually, okay, for having a detailed analysis, okay, for having a detailed information about the different regions and all. So, marked by the use of computers and sophisticated statistical tools, law of physics were often applied to map and analyze human phenomena. Okay, so by the use of computers and sophisticated statistical tools, okay, different types of statistical methods and all, okay, and even the law of physics were applied actually, okay, to understand various phenomena and all, okay, even like we started creating the maps and all with the help of the computer assisted programming and all, okay, and this phase was called the quantitative revolution actually, okay, so this phase during 1950 to 1960s, when the approach was spatial organization actually, and in this phase the approach was popular, the phase, okay, this particular period was popularly known as the period of quantitative revolution actually, because the main objective was to identify mappable patterns for different human activities, okay, so the main objective during this period was to identify the patterns of human activities which can be represented with the help of maps, with the help of charts and all, okay, like with the help of map we can represent the population distribution, with the help of map we can represent the agricultural pattern, with the help of map we can represent the climatic divisions of the world, okay, so this approach, okay, this during this approach actually we started using the modern tools and the techniques actually, okay, to have a better understanding of the human behavior, of the human activities and the relationship with the natural environment. So 1970s, during the period of 1970s, okay, there was an emergence of the humanistic, radical and the behavioral schools. So as I said earlier that geography is a subject which got divided into two branches. One is the physical geography and the one is the human geography. Okay, so basically the physical geographers, they considered human geography as a law-making subject, whereas the human geographers, they started or another group of geographers, they start no, okay, they consider geography as a descriptive subject. Okay, so this group of geographers actually, the human geographers who consider geography as a descriptive subject, among them only, okay, among them only, they were of different opinions, okay, so the human geographers or the geographers, they were of different opinions actually, okay, so according to their differences in opinion, the group of human geographers, they got divided into three divisions actually, that is the humanistics, radical and the behavioral school of thought, okay, so basically some of the geographers, they started they belong to this humanistic school of thought, some of them belong to the radical school of thought and some of them belong to the behavioral school of thought, okay, the school of thought does not mean the school where you study actually, okay, school of thought basically it is, you can say, a group, okay, a group of geographers who basically focuses their research or their studies on this humanistic approach, on the radical approach or on the behavioral approach, okay, so we will be discussing in details about this humanistics, radical and the behavioral approaches in details after this slide actually. See, so discontentment with the quantitative revolution and its dehumanized manner of doing geography led to the emergence of three new school of thought of human geography in the 1970s. Okay, so before 1970s, during 1950s and 1960s, when the approach of the human geographers was spatial organization, and the period was known as the period of quantitative revolution. So many of the geographers, they were dissatisfied. Okay, they were dissatisfied of, okay, they were dissatisfied the way, okay, the people were carrying out the geographical studies through quantitative approach, through statistical techniques and all. Okay, so this group of people, okay, this group of geographers who were discontent, okay, means who were like dissatisfied with the quantitative revolution, okay, so they led to the, okay, it led to the this emergence of three new schools of thoughts actually, okay, means three new groups of geographers actually, okay, during the 1970s. So human geography was made more relevant to the socio-political reality by the emergence of this school of thought. Okay, so before 1970s, actually the geographers were mainly concerned. Okay, during 1950s and 60s, the geographers were mainly concerned to describe the geographical phenomena with the help of the statistical techniques, to describe the geographical phenomena and the human activities through maps and all. Okay, but after the emergence of this three school of thought, okay, after the emergence of this three school of thought, now the human geographers were more focused on the socio-political reality of the human beings, okay, on the social, cultural and the political reality of the human beings. Okay, so this different school of thought, that is the humanistic, radical and the behavioral school of thought, they helped in understanding in a more better way, okay, the behavior of the human beings, okay, the cultural aspects of the human being, the economic aspects of the human being. So now we started knowing in details about the race, religion, about the economies, about the well-being of the peoples and all. Okay, so here actually, okay, like the geographers, they shifted their focus, okay, they shifted their focus in understanding geography through statistical and mapping techniques to understanding the different behaviors of the human beings, okay, such as the cultural behavior, social behavior, economic behaviors and all. The next, during 1990s, okay, during 1990s, the postmodernism in geography actually, okay, the grand generalization and the applicability of universal theories to explain the human conditions with questions, the importance of understanding each local context in its own right was emphasized. Okay, so basically during 1990s actually, means the geographers, they basically, okay, or we basically tried to understand the different phenomena of the human beings, the different phenomena of the physical environment through a general theory. Okay, through a general theory. But this general theory may not be applicable for all the different places or for all the different groups of people and all. Why? Because all the different groups of people, they differ in their characteristics and all. Okay, and even the physical features. Okay, and even the physical characteristics of the landforms, okay, the physical environment, it also varies from one region to another, from one part of the world to another. So a general theory cannot help in understanding in details about the various physical conditions, about the various physical aspects. Like if we want to study about the climate, so if I study the climate of the world in totality, so I will not have a detailed information about the climate of India, isn't it? So for India, we have to follow a different approach of study to understand in details about the climate of India. Okay, so this is why the general approach of studying the whole phenomena of the world in together, okay, was not accepted actually. Okay, it was not accepted because every particular regions had different physical characteristic, physical environment, different groups of peoples and all. Okay, so more importance during this period after 1990s, okay, after 1990s, more importance was given to study in details, okay, about the local phenomena and all, okay, the local context. See, so the importance of understanding each local context in its own right was emphasized. Okay, so more emphasis was given on understanding the phenomena. Okay, the phenomena in terms of the local experience. Okay, the phenomena in details. Okay, the local phenomena and all, so that we can have a better understanding of different phenomena, of different features of the human being. We can have a better understanding of the man and the environmental relationship of different specific regions of the world actually. Okay, so these are the different so in different time periods actually, okay, in different time periods the human society also change. Okay, so with the change in the human society, the approaches of human geography also change. So from the early colonial period to the postmodern period, we see that the approaches of human geography, it changed from the approach of exploration to spatial organization, quantitative evolutions and all. Okay, so this is what about the different approaches of human geography, okay, in different time periods actually.